What's good with the YouTube? You already know Big Flocka with the convict's perspective, and I'm gonna smash, dash, and slide on through with a little bit of energy. Please hit the like, subscribe, comment, do all those things to help support this channel, and hit the bell notification for future fire content. So, I just got word, right, from an established source that I have, a really good one, right? And they let me know what's happened recently up there in Pelican Bay. A couple of days ago, there was another incident. As we already know, there was an incident that happened where, you know, 2 or 3 Surenos chopped up one Norteno, right? Now, this one is something a little bit similar but different, right? Which happened in the building. Happened on their yard, right? In the pod. Now, currently what's going on, there's split program between the Nortenos and Surenos, and they're on controlled movements. And so it happened during Medline, of course. Okay? So what ended up happening, right? One Sureno was popped out for meds. Getting his meds, right? I don't know if there was a celly. I don't know if there was, he had a bicycle or whatnot as a celly, but only one Sureno was out there. They popped the door, let 2 Nortenos out. The Nortenos proceeded to smash on dude. They pretty much got him. They didn't chop him up or use any weapons, but they pretty much gave him the business. We were all questioning what there was going to be retaliation, and some people were saying, oh, no, it's not going to happen. I think we kind of know where everything stands now. And like I said, back in the days when an incident of this severity would happen, it always wouldn't occur where it would happen at every other prison. It would usually stay at either that yard or that prison, and just that's it. Now, there's 2 things that are really concerning that maybe it could spread out. 1, if the dude dies, okay? 2, based on the fact that this is the end to all hostilities, right? And you have MA members and whatnot and big homies out there in the yards, this makes everything all the more different, And the fact that this type of incident happened, it's going to make people second guess or push the envelope on any little issues. Now, could this very well spread statewide? Very well it could. Could this just end up staying there in the state? Yeah. I mean, as far as Pelican Bay, yeah, it could just stay there. So if anything, I have heard this, that on several different prison yards, there is tension, right? Because nobody knows what to expect. So everybody's ready either way, right? Now, it could very well just stay up there in Pelican Bay, okay? And normally, that's how it would pretty much stay. This, though, I don't know, because right now, once someone breaks the end to all hostilities, it kind of leaves everything on the table. This wasn't like before where, enemies were the enemy, and when it kicked off, and sometimes you could coexist, sometimes you couldn't. So, I anticipate, at least in Pelican Bay, it's going to be kicking off for a long time. And, even though this right here is pretty much the sign of how the Nortenos are going to react. The fact that they got action to move on one, they moved on them. I'm just surprised that they didn't have pieces, and didn't move on these guys with any weapons, because I was told that there was no weapons involved. And this happened a couple of days ago, and they're trying to figure out why did this correctional officer pop the door open, and we all know they've been doing this for years. Anytime they know that there's a little bit of ghetto or war, and they get kind of bored up there sometimes, or sometimes they favoritize one group, they start popping people's doors. And that's exactly what happened. Medline popped the door. Remember, this is the same thing that happened with the Bulldogs before, when there was an incident with the Bulldogs and I think the Nortenos and Surenos up there in Pelican Bay. It was during Medline. So the same type of situation happened. Now, what everybody is talking about, well, who knows? It could be an isolated incident. This dude did that dude, right? Like I told you guys, the moment that move was made, right, they have to respond back. Like I said, it's a declaration of war either way. That's why you don't see, Woods taking off on Northerners, or Woods taking off on Blacks or Southerners, or Northerners taking off on this and that, because anytime you touch another race that's not part of your group, it's war, period. It's war till one side feels content, okay? Now, people could say that, oh, yeah, the Surenos weren't declaring war. It doesn't matter whether they were declaring war or not. It's going to be viewed as a declaration of war. And so now, these are the responses that you're going to get. So we've already had 2 incidents that have happened up there in Pelican Bay now. Now, this was all expected. I don't think that the North had any other alternative based upon what happened. And if anybody's surprised, don't be surprised. This is what I told you was going to happen, what should happen. And that's not me trying to co-sign and encourage fucking, war and all that shit, right? But what happened was wrong, period. It's not acceptable. So I think for a minute, it's going to be tick for tack right now. Until they figure out what's going on. Eventually they're going to have to let him out. they can't leave them on lockdown, I think, for no longer than, I think, 20 days. So that right there is going to pretty much establish where everything's at when that happens. Now, is there communications probably going on with the tops? I'm pretty sure there is. I'm pretty sure there's certain individuals reaching out to those fellas in the Bay and vice versa, right? But, you know, if there's no communication, that's going to be the first sign that everybody knows what time it is, man. Now, everybody's kind of expecting or hoping that it's going to be statewide, which it could be. It very well could be. But at the same time, it may not be. It may just be in regard to this prison. But I tell you right now, this base is going to subvert a lot of ties and a lot of relationships that were being built between the North and South over the last 8 years. Just like that, all that shit's thrown out the window just because of this move. And you can't blame the North on this one. Regardless if dude was acting a certain way, because I've heard rumors, people saying he was being disrespectful. Even if he was being disrespectful, that's the North's job to deal with that. And they have what you call due process, you know, or they also have what you call a corrective form of discipline, which means you try to correct the problem instead of just remove it. So that could be very well the possibilities. The Southsiders didn't like what the North decided to do with this dude. I don't know, you know, but the one thing that will say a lot is what's going to happen if he passes away. Because that right there could very well make a kickoff in every state prison, man. So this pretty much leaves it there at that, man. This information has already been put out there. Everybody already knows about it. So, you know, I was never going to really initially do a video until it was already put out there. So, unless something major happens, as far as any future current events, I think you know where I stand. And I'm really not going to be discussing anything really current unless it's something big, man. Unless all prison kick off or something major happens, you know what I mean? But this is what it is, man. Pelican Bay, the Nortenos actually responded just in that one issue. So that's basically a declaration of war response. Like, yeah, it's cracking. It's not good between us. And until the Nortenos get their get-backs in their eyes, it's going to continue. You know, I don't see just rushing one Sureno at med time being enough retaliation for someone who got chopped up pretty bad and is on his deathbed, is on life support right now. You know, you can't even look at the two incidents the same, you know? So I'm right here with my boy, right? He's a Wood from the Bay. He just came out to visit me, right? Known him for a long time, man. And he got that Bay swag fucking Wood style to him, you know what I mean? And he's like, man, he goes, think about what happened back in the days, man, over a pair of boots, and how that shit just sprayed on for years and how funky it was. He goes, if it was funky over that, he goes, what do you think's going to happen now, man, that they got a Nortener that's on his deathbed right now? You know what I'm saying? And that someone broke the fucking truce. He goes, man, it's going to be ugly again. And it's going to give everybody a reason, instead of just to sit on their laurels, which means sit on their ass and not take the initiative when something happens. People are going to be quicker to push that envelope. They're going to be more fucking hostile towards each other. And it may not kick off at every prison right now. But anytime that there's an issue, that envelope's going to be pushed from now on forward. With that said, it's your boy Flacco. Just giving you guys an update what happened. Like I said, man, future predictions, man, is I don't know. It's gonna get ugly, I think, man. But that's just my personal opinion. That's just a personal opinion. You know, my prayers to everybody out there, man. Sometimes these situations don't even have to happen, man. And people just need to be held accountable on all ends. You know, and you can't have one group thinking that they're gods and dictate everything and just waging attack on just any individual. And that's what happened in that situation. So now you got the reaction over and over again. It's going to happen.